So good morning, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other. So our presenter this morning is Renee Crane, and so happy, Renee, thank you so much. And welcome everyone. So Renee, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to choose this topic, and go ahead and take it from here. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, ladies, for being here today, and Renee for asking me to do this. So my topic today is words have power, and how I got to where I discovered the importance of words was a few years ago. I started taking some coaching programs, and I did become a coach. And in the process, I learned how to speak my authentic self in a way that was positive, as opposed to talking in a way that was negative. And so every day I am conscious of what I say. And I'm going to talk about that today, and how that has affected me and how it has made things happen in my life. And we always want good things to happen in our lives. So that's kind of what it is. I'm all about women. I have been for a long time. Women uplifting themselves and empowering themselves and becoming the strong people that they were created to be. Over centuries, we all know women have been dominated in many ways. And I think that one of the ways that we can take back some of our I don't want to say control, but some of our power is the way that we talk to ourselves and the way we actually speak our words. So throughout my life, I always felt like there was so much more for me to do. And I thought that, going to college, and I did. I got an associate's degree, and then I went back and I got a bachelor's degree, and then I went back and I got a master's degree. And in between there, I thought I wanted to go to law school. So I did that for a year. So I always thought that education was really about the only way to get ahead in life. And while these things were all great accomplishments, and I was, had a sense of pride, because part of that time I was a single parent and going through all that. And for those of you who have done that, that that can be challenging. I was working, going to school, raising kids, and even moved out of state for a while. So there was a lot of challenges that went on. But anyway, in 2018, I was looking on the internet, and that's when I came across and was learning about coaching. Well, when I decided to do this, for a couple of years, I started studying this. And after some changes in my life and more personal development, I began to see how words were affecting my life, how I had said things over time that managed to make things worse or make things better. Okay. So one of the things that I'll say I manifested in my life was I lived in Indiana. It's where I grew up. And I worked for a company that's an agri-science company. And this company also has production plants all across the country, and actually around the world. So I found that there was a place in Texas called Plainview, which is actually where I live now, that was centered between two of my children. And so I saw that, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I wonder if they ever have a job that I'd be interested in. So for about a year, I kept watching it, and just seeing what jobs posted, thinking to myself all along how it would be so good to be able to be closer to the kids. I wouldn't have a 10-hour drive, but maybe a 4-hour drive to see them. So I kept telling myself, somehow this is going to work. I don't know how, but somehow this is going to work. Well, lo and behold, in 2021, a job came open. It was really going to be a lateral transfer. I interviewed, was accepted, and in July of 21, I moved to Texas. So that was not one of those quick things that happened. It was one of those long-term things that happened. It took several months, actually a couple of years, for that to manifest. But I kept telling myself, somehow, some way, I'm going to get there. And I was determined to get there. So before we begin and we start talking really about words and how they can affect you, I want everybody to kind of sit up straight, okay? And I want you to take a really deep breath in. We're just going to kind of do a cleansing breath, and we're going to blow it out through our mouth like we're blowing through a straw. So we're going to do 3 of these. So the first one, here we go. Go. Let it all out. And then take another one. And our last one. Now, by breathing, you have probably felt your body relax a little bit. And in doing so, it kind of opens up your mind and your body to take on maybe some new thoughts and some new processes. So I want to talk about one of my points today is that words can do 2 things. They can be positive words where they cultivate and grow, or they can be negative words that inhibit. So you're probably starting to think of some of these things right now. And I know the first time I heard that, I started thinking a little bit. But I want to let you know that Napoleon Hill, and you may have heard of Napoleon Hill in this group, okay? He said that a positive mental attitude is the single most important principle of the science of success, okay? You must have a positive mental attitude to make life pay off on your terms. And he also said that the number 1 characteristic for an attractive personality, so for any of you who are looking for that guy, all right, is a positive mental attitude, all right? Nobody wants to date a negative Nelly, and not putting any Nellies down, but we all know that's a term that can be used. You don't want to be with somebody who is constantly berating themselves or saying, oh, I'm never going to do this. And they're just kind of ho-hum all the time. So you can totally understand what that means. So I want you to invite you to consider this, that the words that we use have a powerful effect on the results we generate in our lives. And my example of figuring out how to get down to Texas and telling myself that was going to happen was one of those powerful effects of constantly doing that myself. So how's a way, that we can think about changing your mental attitude? I think probably most of the women in this group, being with Renee, you probably have a pretty good attitude. So the easiest way is really just to pay attention to what you're thinking. Okay, notice what you're noticing. Pay attention what you think and what you say. Now, what you think has a vibration, and what you say has even a higher intensity of a vibration. Okay, so if I'm thinking I'm not enough, and I say that enough, I start acting. I say that in my mind, I start behaving that way. But if I say it a lot, well, then I've actually heard it, and I say to myself, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. And I'm a short person. I'm under 5 foot. So for those of you who are under 5 foot, yay. Okay, we rule. And anyway, just want to say that coming out of your mouth and then you hearing it, it reinforces what you're thinking. So be careful what you say as well as what you think. When you have hopes and dreams, for instance, my hopes to move to Texas, okay, when that's what I was saying, and I was saying, somehow I'm going to get there, somehow I'm going to get there. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know how the money's going to come together. I just know it's going to work. I had this dream. I had this vision. I had this deep desire to get closer to my kids and grandkids. And if I had been saying to myself all along, well, that's never going to happen for me. I mean, they're probably never going to have a job. They haven't had a job opening in a long time. I can't imagine being anything, and just all those things I could have said myself, I would have just talked myself out of it, so to speak. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if that makes sense. If you keep talking and it just makes sense to yourself. So how are you going to change that? Okay, if you've got something that maybe you're kind of talking to yourself in a negative way, how are you going to change that? So you want to practice using words that reflect what you really want in your life, and not words that are belittling or demeaning. And so many people say to themselves, oh, I was so stupid. I mean, you've probably said that yourself. It's something that is common for people to say. So let's just do a quick check, okay? Think about this question, all right? How many times a day do you think words come out of your mouth, not just what you think, but come out of your mouth, that are not in alignment with who you really want to be? For instance, if I had kept saying to myself, oh, there's no way I'm ever going to make that, there's not going to be a job happening, and I keep doing that. So think about how many times a day you think you do that. Would you maybe possibly say something and immediately regret it, or realize you shouldn't have said it? Something along those lines. So on the scale of 1 to 5, what is your score? Is it a 1? Not at all. I don't do that. Number 2 is a little. Number 3 is sometimes I do that. Number 4 is, yeah, I think I do that a lot. I think I do that quite a bit. And number 5 is, yeah, I do that a lot. I know I do. I shouldn't be doing that. So just really quick, is anybody interested in sharing what you wrote down and why you wrote that down? Does anybody want to unmute and tell us what they think about that? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to give somebody an opportunity if they felt that they wanted to do that. So how are we going to change this? So there's common words that we can use. So I call them a common word user to a successful word user. And you probably have all heard the Henry Ford quote that says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Okay, whichever way you think, you're absolutely right. When I first heard that years ago, I thought that was the silliest thing I'd ever heard until I broke it down and I understood what it meant. And that is how my progression has happened too. As time has gone on, I've grown to take the time to understand, and you can do that as well too. For some people, it's quick. For some people, it takes a little bit of time. So did you know that there is no such thing as try? Okay, either you are or you aren't. If you say you're going to try to do something, you're not doing it, right? So there's no such word as try. Oh, I'm going to try and make it to the party. I'm going to try and make it to Renee's group on Thursday. I'm going to try and get the yard mowed tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to try. All right. And as kids, oftentimes we're told to keep trying harder, try harder. Okay, maybe not the best thing that we could have been told as kids, but people were doing the best they could at the time. So here's some more examples. How many times do you say this? You say, I have to do something. All right, I have to go to work. So I want you to think of something that you say like that. All right. Maybe it's, I have to go to the store today, or I have to go out and do this, or I have to call somebody. How do you feel? Does anybody want to say how they feel or put it in the chat of how they feel? Sometimes when you say you have to, it's like pushing. You're pushing to get that done. And it's like, it's a dread, right? So if you say something like, I get to, yes, resistance, absolutely. I get to, okay? And you say, I get to go to work. Well, then it sounds more like a privilege. It sounds like something that I might want to do, really. It's not something I'm forced to do, but it's something that I'm getting to do. The other thing that you can even elevate that more, and I saw it in the chat, was to say, I choose to go to work today. I choose to go to the store. I choose to make that phone call and make this person feel better. Okay, look at the whole difference in how you feel when you think about that. When you have to, it's so resistant, like was said. When you get to, then it's a little bit of a privilege. And when I choose to, hey, that's me. I chose that. Okay, I'm empowered. Look at that. Look how quickly that changed. And you can do that with anything. All right, that's one simple way of doing it. Here's another one that kind of cracks me up. You ever go to a restaurant and you tell the waitress that you'd like to have more iced tea or more water, and she brings it back and you say thank you, and she goes, oh, no worries, no problem, it's not a big deal. You know, you kind of wonder, well, could it have been a problem? Why was it a problem? Why would you say it was no problem? I have taken those words out of my life. Okay, for those of you who know what Chick-fil-A is, it's a fast food restaurant in the States. I don't know if it's worldwide, but they train their people to say, my pleasure. And every time you go to a Chick-fil-A and you say thank you, they give you a smile and they say, my pleasure. And you know, you just feel more important that way. If you have somebody is giving to you and it's pleasure to them. So give that gift to others too. Somebody says, thank you, say, my pleasure. I appreciated doing it for you. Or I was grateful to be able to help you in some way. Okay. Here's another one that's really good. And this one is definitely one I think about every day. How many times do you say something along this lines? I would love to go to your party, but I've got to take the kids to ballet tonight. Okay. So when you say but, you draw a line, and I see head shaking. You draw that line, and everything you said before that is negated. Okay. Everything you say after that is truth to you. So I would love to go to your party. Probably not true. And instead of saying but, if you say but, and you say, but I'm going to take the kids to ballet, then you make that your important thing. But if you say, I would love to go to your party and I have to take the kids to ballet tonight, I'm not sure it's going to work out. If I can, I will drop by, or something along those lines. When you say and, you're saying, I have this to do and I have this to do. So I am very conscious about saying the word but. And if it comes out of my mouth, I stutter, I stop. You saw me do that. And I try to say the word and instead, or a phrase that makes it look like both things or everything is important. So keep that in mind. Another one is, I need to get this done. I need to sweep the floor. I need to do the laundry. So on and so forth. Everything is I need. Again, that push energy, that, oh my gosh, I just got to get this done. It makes me so tired. And I'm sure there's some of you who feel that way, because I tend to whine to myself sometimes when I don't want to do the laundry. So I am pulling myself out of that as well. I see people laughing. I'm sure some of you feel that way as well too. So instead of saying, I need to get the laundry done, I'm going to say something along the lines of, I would love to get the laundry done so I can have clean clothes for next week. And that special shirt of mine that's been in the dirty clothes now for a week and a half, I want to wear that on Thursday. So I need to get I would love to get the laundry done. See what it is? See how easy it is to be in those patterns? And so I would love to get the laundry done so that I can wear that special shirt. So here's another one too. The I will and I am. Okay. I will get to the laundry. I will get this done. I will do this. Well, will is in the future. Okay. You're dedicating what's going on to happen later. We only live right now in the present at this moment. Okay. It's the past or it's the future or the present, and we live right in the present. And when you say I am, you're declaring who you are, what you are right now. I am a confident, vibrant woman who loves to help other women achieve great results in their life. Okay. I am a mother who loves my children and my grandchildren, and I try to see my adult children as much as I possibly can. I am a daughter who is going to go home in a couple of months and take her mom on a couple of trips because that's what mom likes. Okay. So I am. So going forward, okay, you've kind of got some thoughts going on. If you want to put anything in the chat, that'd be nice. And just say what kind of words you think you would like to use in the future from this moment forward that will help you propagate having what you're really wanting out of your life. Okay. Has anybody got any words that they would like to use or say or think about? There's a lot of ways we can do this. We can do this by having that awesome mind change where we're doing this, okay? And I see Suzanne on here, and I know, Suzanne, you go through this too. And so happy to see you. And so we also can do affirmations. Do any of you use affirmations? You can just raise your hand if you do. Sometimes they're on a sporadic basis. Sometimes we do them on a daily basis. But the more you do these affirmations, which are just positive things to yourself, the more likely you are to begin to understand and believe them than if you just do it sporadically. So if you try to do them daily, that's great. It took me a while to understand how these work. But my affirmation when I was going to move to Texas was, I don't know how, I don't know when, somehow I'm going to get down there. Now, that's not a holistic positive one, but it was what I was doing. I was telling myself that a lot. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And it did. It did. It came together. And when it came together, people thought I was crazy, but that's okay. I moved out of state before with 3 young kids, and people thought I was crazy then too. And life was fine. So, it's okay. It was what I knew I needed to do. That's what you have to find. What is your desire? What is your heart telling you? What is your spirit telling you? And listen to that intuition, because that intuition is the best thing you have in your life. Okay. That is the best thing you have in your life. So affirmations also help you to speak those words, to rewire, like I was saying, your subconscious. So I'm no longer saying things like, oh, there's no way I can get that done, to, oh, yes, I don't know how, but it's going to get done. So when you also do affirmations or you do positive mental thoughts, you release some of the culprits. Okay. Some of those little, niggles that get in your mind. It's like you think about those old phrases, right? So you start to take those away and you replace those old phrases with the new ones, and that just helps you to keep going. You can do these affirmations daily. You can find different ones, because whatever I feel today may not be what I'm looking for next week. So maybe this week I'm really trying to find more money in my life. So I have some money affirmations going on, or maybe I'm looking for that love of my life. So I have some of those type of affirmations going on. And in a couple of weeks, my focus has changed a little bit. So I may adjust my affirmations a little bit. Okay. So incorporate those into your day all the time. And I guess I would just see if anybody, oh, I do have one more thing I want to say. So I want to give you 5 common words that block the power of manifestation. Okay. And then I'm going to give you some ideas. Some of them I've already given you to help unblock that. Okay. So when you say the word excitement, okay, you think that that's a positive thing and that's a great thing. But sometimes when you're excited, it's because you didn't believe that should have come to you. All right. So when I was getting ready to move, and when I found out I got the job, I was excited, but I also had expected that. Okay. So my wording should have been, I am thrilled that everything is coming as I saw it being. Okay. Because I was thrilled. I was thrilled. I wasn't just excited because it was like a surprise. Yay, surprise party. It wasn't like that. I had dreamed and worked and thought my way to that. So, you can say things like, I'm so grateful this happened, and so on and so forth. Let me just tell you something else that I thought about for a year, and it came to fruition, and I wasn't surprised when it happened. And that is this. For those of you who have worked at a job where you get annual merit raises, sometimes you're on a grade level. Okay. We have grade levels at my work, and I always do good. Everything's fine. Everything's, just going along like I should. Well, I decided last year that was not good enough for me. And that this year, when I got my merit raise, I was going to get 1, a higher standing, 2, a higher raise, 3, that meant a higher bonus. And I told myself this a lot. I'm going to hit this level. I'm going to hit this level. I'm going to hit this level. And then I have a spreadsheet. I put in possible raise amounts, percentages. Okay. And I kept looking at that and thinking about that. Guess what happened? Okay. I got that level I wanted. I got a 6% raise. And in this economy, that's not huge, but it's bigger than what most people get. Most of the time in the past 10 years, it's been somewhere to 2 to 3%. So it was double what I was used to getting. And as a result, it made my annual bonus a few $1,000s higher. So again, all I did was think about this and think about what it could be and the possibilities that could come and why I wanted that. And it came to be. All right. So sometimes we say maybe, and I guess, and it could be, and so on and so forth. So instead of saying, well, I might want to move to Texas, that might be a possibility. I need to say crystal clear, I am going to get there. And I did. And that was awesome. Let's see. I just have one more thing I want to talk about, because these other words I've talked about already. I've talked about I will and need, but some of the phrases you can say to kind of counteract this is things like I am, which we talked about already. And saying things that you're grateful for and that you're thankful for. So do that. Say I love and mean love. Don't say I love McDonald's French fries. Okay. Because that may or may not be true. But really mean what you say. All right. And say just positive words to other people, because it does reflect back to you. So I just want to end on this note that you have the power in your words to create the life that you absolutely would love living. And you also have the power in words to remove those things in your life that you no longer want. So blessings to you, and use your words wisely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. That was amazing. I know I am very guilty about all of that, everything you said. I see Suzanne with her hands up, also Marla. So we can go Suzanne, and then we go to Marla for that. And then if any one of you, all of you, if each of us could just share our thoughts about this, because I'm very guilty. I know that. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. How you doing? I didn't want to talk until I was done driving, but everything, Renee, you and I know for Great Thinking Institute, in the language. For me, the I am has become extremely strong. I really put that into action, and that has made all the difference. Recently, I just wrote a letter, and I said, I am the torchbearer. I am creating this program, and I know it will come true, because when you use the I am, it's so powerful. And I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Suzanne. I appreciate that confirmation of how well that has worked for you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Marla, you're next.
Well, I love your reminders about coming back and choosing. It's something that I fall out of habit with and get back into habit with, and it's definitely I think that self-management is so important, and it is something that we so focus on other people with whatever we're doing that we sometimes forget that, have I managed myself first before I go step out and do something else. And then thank you for that explanation between excitement and the thrill, because I'd never really thought about that way. That was a new little light bulb for me. The rest was just kind of nudging me to get back to some good behaviors. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And Marla, I know you're very good with sales. One of the thing for me, anything sales related, that's like, I always tell myself, I can't do that. That's like my no, anything related to sales. So I want you to make some comment about that.
Well, okay, I will, because what I like is what is going on is there's the number of things, but people are holding a mindset about some past poor experience they had with someone else. And then they start comparing themselves to that person, saying, I don't want to be like that person. Well, what you have to go backwards and say is, have I ever been like that person? If you have never been like that person, why the heck would you be like that person now?
I did.
And then the other thing is, when people say they have fear of something, we are all here to bring value to people. So in selling, you are only advising or helping people discover if this product or this item is going to bring value to them, value to their life, value to their health, whatever it is. And if you can step out of your ego, which is the fear part, and always say, how am I going to bring value to this person? How am I going to listen to them better so that I can understand what they need and would value? then you have no time to be in that fear space because you're in full service. And this is the piece that people don't get about selling. Sales is only the minimum end transaction where something is exchanged. The whole rest of the process is influence, involvement, caring, whatever word you want to put on it. It's full on engagement to bring value to that other person.
I love that. I love that because you're turning it around instead of, I think of selling as being negative because like you're imposing on other people, but you didn't realize that we buy stuff all the time and we
Right.
may need, I use the word may, did you hear that, Renee? I need that item and I wouldn't know unless somebody tell me that. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. And if there's a whole bunch of qualifiers in there where, but I can ease the, I even work with attorneys who don't know how to sell their services. And because they get so on task. But some people have met the car salesman who gets so on task. I'm going to make a sale. It's not about you. It's about them. When you can make that transition, you get there.
So Renee, earlier before this started, we talked about coaching. There are a lot of coaches with the Dream Builders program, but very few actually make it because of this money thing and that you can't sustain while you're trying to build your business. And I think that, so Marla, that was wonderful. Thank you for that. Eva, go ahead. No, Julie?
I just agree with every single little bit of it that you've said, and I think how quickly we go back to the default, which is the is not positive. It's that sort of, it's almost like set in concrete, and you, especially if you're feeling a bit down and a bit low, I think. And I've certainly had a period of that where I'm just looking at even my own thoughts every day and think, wow. Okay, I just enjoyed it, and yeah,
Thank you, Julie.
we're very
this,
aware, with the work I do, that I can tell others to do it, but then am I doing it myself?
I know this morning I didn't want to get up. Like first thing, was it the mastermind at 7 a.m. It's too early. I don't want to get up. That was the first thing that came to, my head. But anyway, so Renee, I'm going to have to start to reprogram this language, change my vocabulary. Binta, you're next.
Oh, I'm just so happy to hear Marla what she says, and Renee, thank you so much for your words, because for me, I resonate with everything you're saying. My life took a different direction the moment I realized that I am the one holding myself back with my thoughts and the way I look at myself. And it's a journey, but everything you said here today it resonates so much. So I'm so grateful to be able to be reminded of the words, like I do say, oh man, I have to do laundry today. Oh man, I don't want to do the laundry today, or wash the dishes and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to be careful of how I, use certain words. But most of the time, my words are very positive, and the way I talk to myself. And I went through yoga teacher training, so yoga changed my life so much. And so this is the kind of stuff they teach and everything. And Marla, everything you said about God, we live in a world where we exchange value, right? We offer service, to enhance people's lives. That is what the world is revolved around. Without exchanging value, what will we do? So for me, that is what I'm learning to because I get nervous. I have a business now where I offer people products, beautiful products to use. And sometimes I get scared that I'm imposing, but they tell me, no, you are exchanging value. You're exchanging good value. So don't be afraid. So I'm the only one holding myself back, but I'm so grateful to be able to hear your beautiful words, and I will take them to value. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. One thing I want to point out about what you said about, doing the dishes. So one of the things you can think about when you see that stack of dishes after dinner, and this is for all of us, because we all have to do dishes at some point in time, even if it's just a fork, it is to say, I am grateful that I have dishes to do and that I have food to put on those dishes. And that's why I have to clean them.
Yeah.
And then your whole demeanor changes because it's a
Yes.
gratitude moment, not a, I have to get this done because I got to get cleaned up.
Yeah,
So
thank you
thank
so
you
much
for that.
Thank you for that. And the thing is, we're talking about raising our vibration. If your words are negative, you can't raise your vibration, So, Suzanne, I'm going to come back to you, but I'm going to try to give a chance for those who haven't had the chance yet. Lovelyn, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Renee, for the presentation. And I think I need a constant reminder because I sometimes my tongue slips away and it says things that I'm not supposed to say. I know I'm supposed to use affirmation. The two words I am are very, very, very powerful. And I wish I would say them all the time. I'm happy that you mentioned that we have the power to get what we want in this life. We have that power in our words, but then we sometimes ask ourselves why we are stuck and we get angry and we don't realize that we still have that power to change our lives and get whatever that we want. That is one thing that you mentioned. That's when you said it, it hit home for me. And I said, but I have the power to get whatever I want. Why am I struggling in other areas? So thank you so much for the reminder. And I just hope and I pray that I'll start using these words. I am all the time. I am this, I am that, I am powerful, I'm that, I'm that. And hopefully I will stay on track. So thank you so much for your presentation. It's a quick reminder and thank you for putting us back in alignment. So some of us that had slipped off the wheels, I just hope that we'll come back to alignment. Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you for
pleasure.
that, Lovelyn. I see you, Suzanne. I'll come back to you, but I just want to give everyone a chance. Omeka, go ahead.
Yeah. Wow, that was powerful. Yeah, I so needed to hear that. Like, thank you for recording this. I will be listening to it every day. Just to remind myself I need to be putting signs up all over the place. And yeah, as many times as I've heard all of that, those 60,000 thoughts, at least 1,000, probably way more than that, get through. And I'm like, man, I said, well, I'm grateful. I yelled and screamed at somebody everything that I needed to hear. And I was so frustrated, even though I knew it wasn't just about them. I was just looking at myself being like completely frustrated to like the millionth degree. And I was like, wow. So yeah, that constantly take a look at myself or ourselves and say, that's interesting. That was an interesting thing you just said. Now, what did you really mean? Or, yeah, just constantly being able to change our thoughts and change our situations. And yeah, Lisa Nichols, she said we have 1,000 second chances and we have more than that. It's unlimited, And yeah, so grateful. Thank you for everything. Everybody said, yes, back in alignment. Exactly. I feel that, like, I really feel that. Like I was going through some stuff today and I was like, wow, I didn't really fully read the description of what you were talking about, but everything is right on time. Always, always. From the birds chirping to the dead squirrel in the street. It's just always a reflection. So I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Omeka. This is such a great topic, by the way, Renee. Thank you. Eva, I saw your hands up and you haven't had a chance to say anything yet. You're muted.
First of all, I wanted to apologize for withdrawing when you asked me to talk because I wasn't prepared. This is the first thing. And secondly, my voice is still croaky after a bit of COVID. But I do want to say, Renee, this is a wonderful topic, and thank you so much for the presentation. And maybe one day we can also expand this topic a little bit, because this was extremely important. How we talk to ourselves, that is the basics of everything. I absolutely agree. But my passion and my also great interest is how we talk to children when we teach, well, whether we teach children or teach anybody else, what really serious mistakes we make without being aware of what we're doing. Words just slide down our tongue, as I think Olmeka said, or somebody said very, very, very rightly, without going through here or through the heart, they just, we spit them out. And so I learned many, many years ago, I think I learned this from Jack Canfield, to say delete, delete. When I say something, delete. I used to also say, yes, to children, to imagine that the words is written on the board, and then they did just deleting it and replacing it with something else. But I tend to talk too much, and one day when my voice is back, that's very kind, but when my voice is back, I would love us to talk about that, Renee and everybody else. If you feel that it is an important thing, that would be wonderful.
Eva,
Right.
just thank you, Eva, for that. But I was going to say, you and Julie has a presentation coming up. That could be your topic. It's about how to speak, to expand on this subject, because you have a.
Well, all right. I would like, I didn't realize that, but I will be very happy to do that. The thing is that maybe if next time I could make a suggestion of a number of topics, and we would vote what people would like to talk about, because there are so many fascinating things to discuss with this wonderful group of people, that I would like this to be of interest to as many as possible.
Sounds good. Thank you,
Yeah?
Eva.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We can connect offline too. You can tell me your idea.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, okay, let's do that, Rini. Yes.
That's good. Thank you. Joey, and then Joey, Faith, and then I'll go back to Suzanne. Go ahead, Joey.
Hi, good morning, guys. Okay, so thank you first and foremost for the topic that I love, the practicing in our life. And what I can share is that we are all creators, right? And the way we create is when we say I am, those words, just like how God started, creating us. And anything we say after that is the creation. So I am this, I am that. And it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, but you create that. So again, there's no blame on whatever is happening in your life, because you were the one who created it, right? So I wasn't aware about this until we studied law of attraction back in 2008. And since then, we were very careful about our words and our thoughts. But again, it's not easy. It's a journey, a lifelong journey. It's like over 10 years. And now we can really say that we have practiced and a little bit mastered it, right? And that's what we also taught our kids. And forgive me if I always seem to be bragging about my family. Like I always say, I have a perfect family, perfect because it's based on my own standards, not society standards. But really, you've seen the kids, you've heard them, you have taught them, for 3 months, you did the Think and Grow Rich, and you've seen how very different they are from the adults that we see nowadays, right? So for parents out there, or grandparents, it's not too late to start with your kids, start them young, because then you would see the benefits that we adults are talking about this. We're already in our 40s, 50s, and yet these kids, which started them young, And now they're, whatever we're saying now, whatever we're learning now, they're already living it and they're teaching it. So like our kids, we train them to say their gratitude, list down their gratitude things. And my youngest just recently, because every day I ask them to post because we're not together right now. I asked them to post, and my youngest, she's 11 now, she said, "I'm grateful for my brain because I'm so smart." You hear these kids. I mean, in my generation, you hear someone talk like that, they think you're crazy, you're a braggart, and they would put you down or say something against it, right? But with us, it's fine. We let them because they're limitless. We are all limitless. We were limited because of our programming, because of our environment, because of what adults around us have, taught us. And because of that, we're like this. And now we're only learning that we are limitless. But with kids, they're very different. They're still, they're absorbing everything that we're teaching them. And if we don't put any limits to them, because of course they respect us and they look up to us, if we don't put any limits to them, they would not limit themselves as well.
Wow, thank you, Joey. Joey, for those of you who don't know Joey, she does have a perfect family. She homeschooled 5 kids. Can you imagine? And she teaches personal development since they're very, very young. They're amazing if you ever meet them. I had the opportunity to do service for their family, the Think and Grow Rich lessons. But anyway, yeah, Joey, thank you for that. Faith, you're next, and then Suzanne. Faith, are you there?
Yes, I think this was a very uplifting presentation, and I thank you for it. And the part that I would say is it is biblical. Even the Bible says there is power in words, to the point that there is life and death in the power of words. So it's really true, and it's worth pursuing to try to create, not try to create words over your life that will enhance and help you. And I thank you for this.
Thank you, Faith. And all day long, I'm going to start catching myself here. Anyway, Suzanne, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to get off quickly and make sure everybody had a turn to talk earlier. I wanted to go back to Renee, to when you said I have to do dishes. I'll often catch myself saying I have to go to the dentist, and then I'm like, but I'm grateful that I have teeth I get to take care of. So now I'm like, I get to go to the dentist because I have teeth that I want to show off. So that's one thing. The other thing is, in this world, we really need to start working on empowering ourselves and empowering others with the words that we use, because sometimes what happens is we're so quick to help or critique someone to make them better, but we forget that empowerment is twice as valuable as critiquing. It's not about telling someone that what they did wrong to make them better. It's about empowering what's good and keep going. And so often I think our parents' generation think that you have to critique to improve. And I have to disagree with that. I think you empower what's good and keep it going. And that's my key word. Other than trust, my key word for the year with Kim is empowerment.
Yes, absolutely. That's amazing. Absolutely true. I mean, like, how do you increase your own vibration? If you're not saying all these positive words. So this is such a great topic. So before we close, Renee, I'm going to give it back to you.
Okay, I want to just say one last thing. Here's another thing that you can do to be of service to not only yourself, but more to others. So when somebody comes into my office and I look up and see them there, I don't say, "What do you want?" I say, "Hi." I say, "What can I do for you?" See the difference in that?
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you? And so therefore it becomes a service thing, and it becomes me giving, and it becomes me helping them. And like she was saying a while ago, it has to do with the value. I'm letting them know that they have value. So all these things that we've all said today and all of your comments were so spot on. And I'm glad that this has been a revitalization for some of you or an awakening for others of you. And as time goes on, I plan on doing more with this. And Eva, like you were talking about expanding on this. And I think there'll be more come from me with this. So be on the lookout in the group. I may put some things in there a little bit. So thank you all so much for your attention, your kind comments, and the fact that this was able to help you in some way. It's been my pleasure to give you what you needed today.
Yes, thank you so much, Renee, and all of you. Remember what Marla said. It's like it's not about you. She said it's about the other person. We sometimes focus on ourselves, or it's a service. We have to remember we're giving value, all of that. I have to consciously. It's all kind of in your subconscious, in your head, whenever you start talking to yourself and you said, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, whatever. And we just have to reprogram that. So this has been an amazing session, Renee. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom here with all of us. So with that, any other last minute comment before I close? Binta, I see you unmuting.
Oh, no, I was gonna say thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.
Binta will be presenting next week about your values. She's going to be challenging you about what are your values. So I'm so excited about that, Binta. See,
Well, think about a sentence, just one sentence that you're gonna read from and talk about that. It's gonna be fun. We are all gonna have fun.
So
Just
it'll
one
be an
sentence.
interactive. Yeah.
Think about
Go
it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone. Thank you again for coming here, and especially Renee for presenting, and have a great week, great weekend. See you all. See you next week.
Perfect
Bye-bye.
timing. Perfect timing.